Will I be the idiot for suing my daughter-in-law?
Edit. They aren't married. Referring to her as daughter-in-law is just easier for the sake of storytelling. Our son and daughter-in-law, 26-year-old, have been together for 2 years and live together.
We've always thought she, a very nice girl, and she seems to make my son happy, so no problem from us. Our son has his own law firm that he's currently trying to get started. We're very proud of him, and we're fortunate enough to help him with a startup loan. Daughter-in-law works a retail job that she's very happy with. Some time ago, husband and I were over at their apartment and we decided to order some food. Husband and I wanted to pay, and since daughter-in-law were ordering from her phone, we gave her our card so she could draw the money from our account. We thought it goes without saying this was to draw an amount once, for the lunch. However, daughter-in-law apparently put our card into her Apple Pay, and have been using it since. We didn't notice for some months but recently saw withdrawals we didn't recognize. We had our accountant look into it, and he discovered that one, daughter-in-law has been using our card on her phone, and that two, she's spent around $17K. We were quite shocked and called her up and asked why the hell she's been using our card. She got very defensive, tries to deny it, and eventually said she was entitled to it, and why do we care since we haven't noticed her use over 4 months. We told her she needed to pay us back immediately or we'd report her actions for theft. She apparently doesn't have the money to pay us back. We've gone to our son and he's offered to pay us back even though he actually cannot afford to. This isn't about the money for us, but more about the fact that she's stolen a huge amount of money. While we are comfortable and it took us time to notice, we still recognize the seriousness of stealing 17 United States dollars. Our son has completely dismissed her behavior and excused it as her being stressed. She's taken no responsibility, and we're honestly wanting to go forward with the police report to teach her consequences to her actions. Would we be the idiot for doing this? The top replies, not the idiot. If the daughter-in-law is this entitled, I have a feeling one day she won't have a problem stealing from the son's law firm or something else that could get him in serious trouble. The son is looking at things through rose-colored in-love glasses, but trusting a person like this can really ruin someone's life. Your son might be angry, but in the long run you might also be saving him from a worse fate. Original poster. The audacity of this girl. I'd see who it is, how close I am to them, or how much money they have.
Never in a million years would I ever steal like this.
I wonder if she tried to tell the son it was an accident, and her phone just happened to save the card. She knew exactly what she was doing.
A broke person doesn't blow 17K in 4 months, they're careful with their money.
I don't spend that much money on myself in 3 years, let alone 4 months FFS. This was no accident. Original poster. Press charges. Someone who steals is not a person you can ever trust to have in your life. I'd see if it's $20 or $20,000. When someone is dishonest like that and is comfortable being dishonest, you need to cut them out of your life. The second reply. She WNBTA if she sued or reported it as theft, but they are going to damage their relationship with their son and possibly drive him closer to his now unemployable felon wife. Who is perfect to be a som because she can't get a job now? Is that their end game? 'Cause I think the real end game is to get her out ASAP with as few lasting repercussions as possible. I'd allow him to repay on 2 conditions. 1. He signs an ironclad post-nup. You can even let him use some of that $17,000 to hire a lawyer. 2. She is not allowed in my house again, their house or neutral locations, at least until she apologized and it all is paid back. Inheritances will be put in trust for any grandchildren.
She'll have no access to your funds ever again.
Hopefully that's enough protection till she does something bad enough to make him leave. So save the rest of the money to help pay for a divorce lawyer. Tell him that's what it's earmarked for. Third reply. I work in law enforcement. If you report this to the police, they will take a report and forward charges to the DA. Usually then the credit card cancels the debit portion as fraudulent. If you just chose to sue her civilly, you will still be liable for the debt, and even if you get a judgment, she may not pay it. I wouldn't give her any special pass to avoid criminal charges. Second story. I know that my husband regrets throwing me out bitterly, but I can't speed my healing fast enough for him. I'm 39 and my husband is 41. My husband's best friend's wife Ali work at the same company I do. We are not very close because I always felt that she didn't like me. Anyway, apparently she had a crush on my husband. My husband and I often get invited to parties at their house. I didn't go to Ali's 40th birthday last August. She had a huge party. I was just starting with my worst morning sickness period, which nobody told me were not only reserved for mornings. Ali made a move on my husband and he got very upset and turned her down. Ali got angry and told him that everyone was doing it. All married couples cheat. Her husband was cheating and I was cheating. She told him it was a colleague of mine. A colleague my husband already disliked.
When my husband got home, he was drunk and very upset.
He confronted me. I told him it wasn't true, but he slept on the sofa. A couple of weeks later, he told me to move out. Apparently, Ali provided my husband with information about my infidelity, late working hours, etc. I was shocked and had nowhere to go. I moved in with my parents. My parents thought I was cheating too, and I felt like they had to take me in. I never felt so hurt in my life. How could my husband so simply believe such thing about me? He demanded a paternity test. In November, my husband found out the truth when another friend's wife told her husband what Ali did. My husband apologized and was devastated and wanted to make it up to me. He told me when Ali told him he didn't believe her. Then he found out that she was telling the truth about her husband being an adulterer, so he thought she was telling the truth about everything. If I wasn't pregnant, I would never have taken my husband back. But I just don't want my baby to be born without his parents being together. I love my stepdad, but he never loved me like he did his biological children, my half-siblings, and it gave me a lot of pain growing up. I moved back home a month ago, but we are still in therapy. Nothing feels the same. I don't know what I feel about my husband. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't. He is trying to make me happy again, but he feels my change. Last time we made love, he kept telling me to come back to him and then broke down crying while we were still intimate because I wasn't there, and he started blaming himself. I don't know what to do. I know I'm being a bit distant and it's not intentional. I need this to work, not only for our son but for us too. Help me find my way back to how it was, or at least give me ways to cope and try to live with the knowledge that things may be a bit worse moving forward. The top replies.
You need counseling and your own in addition to the couple's counseling.
He believed a woman that had a crush on him instead of you, threw you out, and had sex with several women to get back at you. Of course, you're having a hard time being with your husband. As much as you want a loving family for your son, that may not be possible. And your needs to understand that you may never feel the same. The second reply. Sounds like you need his and hers therapists, and a couples, to complete the hat trick. That's if you really think you want to make this work, and I'd give that some serious thought. If this was a complete departure for him, maybe that's worth it, but if you can't find it in yourself to forgive him, don't stay for the sake of the baby. Modeling an unhealthy relationship isn't going to be any better for your child than growing up with parents who are separated. Model happiness for your baby instead. Possibly relevant. Did he cheat too because he thought you had? The original poster reply. I understand everything you're saying. I just feel that I want this to work. We are in couples counseling. He is in therapy since everything happened. He didn't cheat exactly. Since we were divorcing, he withdrew it when he found out I wasn't lying, but yes, he had sex with people. Something I can't shake off my mind every time he comes near me. Third reply. You are staying because your stepfather wasn't a good step-parent. Some people are amazing step-parent. Having a child is caught a good reason to stay in a broken relationship. This will hurt the child way more than having divorced parents. Your husband didn't trust you. He put someone else's word over yours. He broke his vow done during your marriage that you would be his partner and him yours. That you would be a team. He threw you out while pregnant. Not Eve, knowing yet if the kid was his. He had no right, as it is a marital home. I think it is a bog mistake to go back to him. Especially given your reasons. Third story. Am I the idiot for refusing to tell my husband the gender of our baby after he skipped going to the doctor appointment with me? My husband and I are expecting.
This is our first baby and we're excited.
Thing is, he barely attends any doctor appointments with me and his excuses aren't even valid. He's willing to miss the doctor appointment over soccer or a drink or board game with friends. His response is always, "I'm not the one carrying the baby. Why do I have to go see the doctor with you?" Last week was my final straw. He was supposed to come with me for the baby's gender reveal appointment, but he chose to not come last minute because his friend invited him to fish and chips meal. I was pretty livid but didn't make a fuss about it. Mom went with me instead. He texted asking me to tell him the results, boy or girl, but I refused to tell him. He kept spam calling me but I hung up each time. He came home fuming, demanding I tell him the results, but I refused and bluntly told him, since he refused to attend the appointment, then he gets no results till after the baby's born, and said I was wiling to die on this hill. He went off calling me spiteful and immature for doing this and punishing him. He said he's the father and has the right to know. He then called me dramatic since I wasn't alone and mom was with me. I said he gets no results period. He's been fuming about it and told his family, and they're now pressuring me to stop playing mind games with him and tell him, but I declined. Am I the idiot? 2 replies. If he's telling you, "I'm not carrying the baby, why do I have to go to the doctor with you?" that's going to turn into, "I didn't push out that baby. Why should I look after it?" Real quick. Not the idiot. The second reply. My ex pulled this with our second child, and I caved and told him. I shouldn't have. You need to seriously reconsider this relationship. He's showing you that he and his friends are more important than you and the baby. He sees going to appointments with you as punishment, not as a chance to make sure you and the baby are healthy. Don't be like me and stay until he leaves you for another woman. The third reply. Not the idiot unless you booked a separate scan. It's not actually a gender reveal appointment, it's an anomaly appointment, where they look for things that might potentially be wrong with your baby. Gender is bottom of their list of priorities at that appointment, which makes him 100% the idiot. edit/up date. Hi, so, first of all, wow. I did not expect this to blow up. Sorry. Can't answer any comments because of feeling overwhelmed. I just wanted to mention that my husband just attempted to contact my doctor to get the results. It didn't go well and we had another argument over it. He couldn't get it since his mom was the one who made the call.